And I know it's a question you ask me a lot because it is disturbing for those who are experiencing it. The fact of saying, I don't understand, Amanda, if they don't want anything, that is, if they don't want us to meet, if they aren't looking for a relationship, if they don't want to invest emotionally, why waste time? Why stay in contact? Why do they insist when I distance myself? Why do they even come after me? Because if I even tell this person, hey, look, this isn't what I want, or I'm not okay with this, they give me arguments to convince me to stay. If in the end they are making me waste my time and are wasting theirs. That person is not wasting their time. The thing is, that person doesn't want the same thing as you. Obviously, what you are looking for in that person is, well, to establish a relationship, a connection, an emotional involvement. That's why you feel like you're wasting your time, because you're not getting what you want. But this person is already getting what they want from you. Because this person who is in that situation with you, what they want is your attention. Period. They don't want more, they don't want less. And I know this is hard to digest, but that's how it is. What they want is your attention. So this person is not wasting their time because this person is getting exactly what they want. And that's why when they see that they're going to lose what they want, which is the fact that you, well, either invite them to take a step further or let it be, or they realize you're cooling off, they do act because then they feel that indeed, hey, they're going to take away something I want. I like knowing that this person is here. I like knowing that this person wants something with me. I like that they ask me, that they are attentive to me. I want to feel that I have that person's interest. So, as of today, this person understands that you are considering when the situation will change, because obviously as it is, you don't see the point, while this person, if it were up to them, this would never change. This can be prolonged for a very long time, which is why we have to be careful when we are in a situation that doesn't suit us. Then consider if it suits the other person, because if it does suit them, that person won't do anything to change it. So it's up to us to make the situation change if we are not comfortable. And it's also very important to understand exactly what this person wants, because otherwise it's impossible for you to play your cards right. Look, from your perspective, you are usually seeking clarity. That is to say, you tend to believe that there is something, an obstacle you are unaware of, whether this person has an avoidant attachment, or has another unresolved story, or has something they haven't told you. It's as if in your mental framework there is usually the feeling that this person has more feelings than they show, and it's those feelings that make the situation drag on over time. But there's something you want to understand, which is what's causing the obstacle, so that you can be together, and you don't tend to believe that it's a lack of feelings, but rather there's something more. We don't know what it is, but there's something hidden. So normally when you want this to change, you appeal to the feelings and want to discover what the hidden issue is. That's why what you do is go from white to black, right? All or nothing, right? You tell this person like, hey, look, I want to understand what you want, or this situation is hurting me and I have to step back. That is, you corner the person, believing that they're the feeling, will take charge and say, okay, fine, I'm going to set aside the obstacles and commit to this. Or, as I say, you go to the extreme. The problem is that it's not an issue of feeling, it's an issue of lack of real feeling, of convenience and interest rather than feeling. So what happens? When you put the person in very radical situations, what they usually do is, first, if they can, try to wriggle out and convince you. And if they see they can't, these people allow your distancing, apologize, regret it, and if they can, they leave you some glimmer of hope, like maybe later, not right now, maybe I don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's just that at this moment, I'm not looking, always clinging to temporality. But the thing is, they allow you to cool off. But shortly after, they usually come knocking. Why? Because they know that if they give you some time, a margin, you will miss them, you will have a hard time. And then when they contact you again, you are once again willing to turn a blind eye. and act as if the conversation you had never took place or as if you hadn't taken a stand. Or they start very gradually. That is, if you already had a routine of talking every day, then at first, no, not one day, it becomes evident in the bluff of, I write to you just for this, right? And they look for an excuse, or I just want to know how you are. Or I remembered you because of this thing. As if to say, I'm not trying to reestablish contact. Simply is a one-time contact. I reach out to you for something specific, right? But then a few days pass and they reach out to you again for something specific. And before you realize it, you're the one reaching out to them. And before you realize it, you're back to the same as before. Why? Because your technique has been based on, as I say, appealing to emotion and going to see what happens. I want clarity, right? And I don't want any more games. In fact, for you, the situation is usually very stressful. Not understanding what's happening, always being in that limbo, having the person but not having them, right? It's very exhausting. Mentally and emotionally, it's very exhausting. So when you take a step forward, you precisely want to end all that ambiguity. But in this type of situation, if what you're looking for, which you should also consider, if that's the case, by the way, is to hook the person, this radical approach doesn't work. Because as you see, you're pressing the wrong button. But yes, you can take advantage of having a clear understanding of what the person does want from you to use this to your advantage. I tell you right now that a person who builds emotional and effective relationships merely to gain the attention of others is not the partner that suits you. But it is the type of person who can make us waste an incredible amount of time precisely because of what I mentioned at the very beginning. That person has no need for the situation to change because while you're having a hard time and wondering where this is leading and hoping it leads somewhere, this person is very comfortable with the situation. So they are in no hurry to change it. And this is why I'm going to reveal to you, let's say, the formula to help you stop idealizing this person. This can lead you to attract them into a relationship. I won't recommend it, but well, it's in your hands now. What I do tell you is that it's time to stop looking for radical solutions. The first thing you need to understand is that from now on, you must stop showing your cards. Why? It's not in your interest. Consider that this person is really not playing fair. The moment they know you are emotionally involved and are aware that they have no intention of leading this to something that will make you happy, the moment they are not concerned when you have sometimes communicated, hey, look, this hurts me, and 3 days later they seek you out with a pretext because they want your attention, they are not playing fair. In fact, they are playing quite dirty. So I can't try to play with someone by being upfront, showing my cards if this person is not doing the same. So what are your cards, your feelings? This business of showing your feelings has to end. Both when trying to communicate to this person how you feel, what's happening to you, and when having emotional reactions. From now on with this person, forget about showing insecurities, jealousy, anger, when you feel neglected, or when this person is a bit inconsistent, because these types of people also tend to have certain patterns that make you even more hooked, because in the end, they manage to keep your attention always on them. Sometimes not because they are looking for a pattern, but simply because, let's say, that they want to get attention from many people, so they have to divide their time. And usually when someone new comes along, since it's novel, they dedicate extra time to them. Probably when you started talking to this person at the beginning, when you were the novelty, if you think about it, it's possible that in the first few days, this person was constantly in communication with you because you were like, my new toy. And now another person comes along who is neither better nor worse than you, but is the novelty and captures the attention. So maybe for a few days you say, wow, it's just that I practically know nothing about the person, but then it comes, but certainly doesn't give you the same attention as at the beginning. So they have patterns that ultimately usually make you keep your attention always focused there, between that and pondering what you can do to solve the obstacle you don't understand that you're facing in order to be together. Well, I want you to first understand that the reactions to that lack of attention need to stop. I don't want you to reveal how you feel anymore. Those are your cards, and from now on, your cards are going to be for you. The next thing you need to do is reduce the attention, but do it very subtly. That is, you can't give the impression that you're doing this out of anger, much less that you're trying to manipulate the person. So the best way to do this is to space out your interactions more, but when you communicate with this person, be pleasant, provide information. That said, we're also going to play the mystery game. I always want it to be inconclusive information. I want this person to start feeling, so we understand each other, that new things are happening in your life, new things that keep you very busy, which makes it more plausible that you can dedicate a little less time to them. But in the end, don't fully tell them what it is, right? They could be new activities, new people, right? But you are always doing well. From now on, you are always going to be well, always going to be excited, always going to be in a good mood. You won't notice if this person is absent or not, and you will make them wait quite a bit. Not in every interaction, because if you always make them wait, it will also become obvious. But still, suddenly for 7 hours, you don't say anything to the person, you don't communicate at all. And at the last minute, you send a message like, oh, I've had a fantastic day. Someone invited me to something or other. And maybe that someone and something or other is a lie. And maybe that someone doesn't even exist. But maybe that person also doesn't know who that someone is. And it doesn't have to be, mind you, someone of the opposite sex, or of your same gender. If that's what you like, it's not about making them jealous. It's about being a person that this person has never heard of. It could be a friend, right? Or a coworker or something, but they start to realize that they don't know everything about you. That there are new people they don't know, right? And you talk so normally as if this person should know, right? Oh, I was in that course that the person had to take. But what course, right? Let them have a bit of the feeling that, because sometimes it happens that when we're in these situations, we don't realize it, but we practically live for and because of the person. And then we focus a lot on the person's tasks, their schedule, what they have ahead, and so on. And without realizing it, when this person finds out, we want to tell them things. But in the end, well, yes, it becomes apparent that we have a somewhat monotonous, uninteresting life. As I say, when we are drained, this person knows it's because we've been upset because of them, because they have been absent, and they know that when they are absent, they leave our life a bit stalled, a bit empty. And that offers them peace of mind. It makes them feel even more important. But it's little incentive for them to focus their attention on us. So that's why it's about reigniting curiosity by showing this person that we have removed them from the position of being the center of our lives. It's like, what's happening all of a sudden? Why doesn't this person just stop when I leave? What are they doing? Why are they suddenly mentioning names I don't know? They are taking courses I wasn't aware of. They have such plans. Let them realize that they don't know us that well, and above all, that we don't stop our lives for them, that our life goes on. And on top of that, we're doing well. In other words, the time of suffering for them in the corners is over. And this needs to be combined with two things. On one hand, you need to stop trying to find out. It's over with trying to figure out a way to ask them what they've been doing and with whom, right? Because those kinds of people play a lot with mystery. They always give incomplete information and keep you a bit like a detective, right? And they enjoy it when they see you trying to find out. It's over. Don't ask them questions to find out where they've been, who they have been with, what they are going to do, to see if this person suggests meeting you and you don't suggest meeting them. Don't show interest in wanting to make plans. Make it seem like you couldn't care less about seeing the person, really. You might say, Amanda does this work. It works incredibly well. That is when the person starts to notice that you're more distant, but be careful without overdoing it. I repeat, moderation is important here, and above all, the best way to disguise it is this. When the person arrives, we do engage in conversation, but the conversation is more about that. We also share about ourselves. We don't end up giving conclusive information. We do a bit like this person. We can ask them, well, how are you? But not trying to interrogate them really, not trying to find out. The detective work is over. And it's over, as I said, showing them that we want to find a way to meet, that we're desperate to get back in touch. Not passivity, not indifference. This greatly destabilizes this type of person. And also, it doesn't take long to see the first reactions. You quickly start to notice that they write to you more frequently than usual. At times they didn't usually write. They're more attentive. They ask you more questions. Maybe you haven't seen each other for a while. And they will suggest meeting up, because these are people who, despite theoretically mastering this field very well, fall completely into their own trap, because in the end, the fact that they need so much attention reflects that they have a very delicate ego, that they are actually quite immature in their behavior. And so they are people who they have many tools to hook you and confuse you, but they don't have tools to deal with rejection. When you reject them because you tell them that you can't continue because it hurts you, because you want more, they don't handle it well. Why? Because you're feeding their ego, right? It's like, okay, this person is going to withdraw. It's no big deal. It's not that they can't accept that you're leaving. It's not that they can't be without you. When you leave, they just find someone new or communicate more with other people, right? That doesn't affect them, because in the end, as I said, their ego is full. It's like, yes, you're leaving, but because I hurt you too much. And I know that whenever I want, I can come back and you'll be there. And I know that even if we're not talking, you spend all day thinking about me, missing me. You'll be parked just like now, sad because of me, while I'm having a good time. But when it's not like that, when it's not a rejection of, I want clarity, I want explanations, I want to leave this here because it hurts me. If it's not a case of, I pay less attention to you because you no longer seem as interesting to me, because you're no longer as important in my life, because I'm prioritizing other aspects, that does make them feel rejected. And they don't know how to deal well with that rejection. And that's why they become very destabilized and are also quite impulsive people. When they lose, when they become destabilized, they tend to act out, right? And knowing this and being aware that they are going to act, you have to prepare yourself to continue on your same path despite it, right? Because that's when they start to fall into the trap of acting and it doesn't work. And they have to keep going until it does work. Otherwise, their feeling of rejection is further emphasized and they become even more destabilized. Well, I hope this video helps you both to better understand the situation and to be able to change it. If you liked it and you're not subscribed yet, of course, I invite you to do so, to hit the bell, because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.